Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be back with another young Indian today. Today, we have with us, let me just make sure I get his name right, Aavardhan. We have with us Aavardhan. Let's listen to him. Over to you, Aavardhan.
Hi guys, I'm Aavardhan here. I'm a second year psychology student here studying at Jindal Global University, and I'm doing my bachelor's in psychology and counseling. And before I start a thing about myself, people would have never heard the name Aavardhan before. It's quite a unique name, people have told me. And I would actually say that this was taken from a verse in the Vishnu Sahasranam, where it says Avardhano Nivritatma Sampramar And my second language being Sanskrit, I always uh, knew the meaning of the word Avardhan, which says it's the origin of various beings and the universe itself. So I like having that idea about my name, is what I want to
Wonderful.
say.
I had never heard the name, and thank you for telling me what it means before I had to ask.
Definitely.
Okay,
But
good. Let's go ahead.
it puts me in role number one throughout my life.
Okay, wonderful. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So moving on. So I had studied 11th till 12th in CBSE in biology and math, and then I had moved on to pursue psychology in my undergraduation. And I think since how the world has been evolving, how things have been changing, especially given how technology has been evolving, and we all know how much the COVID lockdown had affected our lives. And owing to all this, the mental health scenario has become the most important thing in the world right now, I believe. Like, especially in the case of the COVID lockdown when we were forced to be in our households, mental health had become a big concern. And I think this has helped us to understand the dearth of psychologists in the today's world. And this is primarily why I chose this field. And there's one more reason why I chose being a psychology student, study psychology, is because there's a dearth of male counselors as well. Like, there's a lack of male counselors. Most of the people in psychology are females, and there are very less people who are males who are taking this field. And I remember one day I was just searching for counselors and I couldn't find one male counselor myself. So then let us think how the world would be seeing that. And I came across a research recently called the man box phenomenon. And it says that people who concise and confine themselves to this phenomenon of the man box, they do not feel comfortable seeking help from women. So if in those people who are coming under those criterion, they will find a huge change if there are more male counselors. And I want to be part of that change. Me going and telling people to become psychologists is not going to make a change, but me taking that step myself and studying it and being a counselor one day will definitely I want to make that change. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Now you said that you did biology and maths in high
Yeah.
school, 11th and 12th.
True.
So, how did your peers and your family feel when you gave them up and moved to this field, which no
Definitely.
man takes, as you said? So, how was it?
So I'll first say how I led to take bio and math first. So my family is having a lot of doctors. So most of family are filled with doctors. My own grandfather was the personal cardiologist of the South African president. So they always said that genes of being a doctor has been in your family. And ever I have been grown up with the same thoughts. I then later realized I wanted to do something for mental health. And so me saying I'll study for medicine was meeting my parents halfway as to me going to become a psychiatrist one day.
Yeah,
But then I realized that a psychiatrist only to a certain extent can provide mental health help. It's mostly prescriptions and basic counseling. I wouldn't be making the major part of the change. The major change would be coming down from a counselor. And I realized this quite late. Like, my interest does not lie in the medical field itself.
hmm,
I spent better part of half of my life, almost since sixth grade. I remember that I was preparing for the NEET entrance examination, and then during the 10th grade, after my board exams, the COVID lockdown got struck, and it gave me a lot of time for me to think on myself, where I am, where I'm leading, and what am I doing? Am I doing it for myself or am I doing it for someone else? And I feel that if I really had to make a change, it wouldn't be in a medical profession, but it would be more as a psychologist. I'll
Mhm.
give an example. So now let us say I was born in Chennai. I was born and brought up in Chennai. And let us say in Chennai, we have 100 people. Just to give an example. And in 100 people, trust me, there will be at least two doctors who
Okay.
can cater for 100 people. But trust me, you won't even be able to find one psychologist in the group. So the demand for psychologists is so high. Probably a doctor can, of course, you understand how the difference is. Like the demand for psychologists is so high nowadays. And since India's population is growing second by second, the demand for psychologists is massive. And
Mhm.
I always used to tell this to my friends, guys, any jobs can be taken by artificial intelligence, but my job can never be taken. So yeah, that is
That's
one.
that's what you hope.
And I told them, even if it is going to take, I'll be part of the movement which helps our AI in that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long ago, there was a
Mhm.
software called Eliza,
I know lesson.
ELIZ.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
Eliza is a psychological
Yeah, I know.
software. So, okay, anyway, let's
Of
say
course.
AI doesn't take your job. Let's continue.
I hope it doesn't take, really hope so. And
Let's
yeah,
continue.
so I think that was primarily why I took biology in 11th and 12th. And I always loved math against my peers. A lot of my peers did not like math. Most of
Yeah,
the students who take biology do not like math, so they have that thing. But
yeah.
I was the one rare person who took bio and math and did not end up pursuing engineering or medicine. So I was the black sheep of the cream group, as people would
Okay,
say. I'll
okay.
admit that my parents viewed this career change, like for me to pursue medicine to psychology very fluently. I owe it all to my parents and my grandparents. Uh, but I think society as a whole could not accept it. Like, even, for example, it took time for me to go explain my friends why I took this decision. They were like,
Mm-hmm,
why you had cleared the NEET examination? Why didn't
mm-hmm,
you go for the medical college? So I went
mm-hmm.
and wrote the examinations. I got the seat, but why didn't I go? So that is the most difficult thing. If I had not gotten it and then went, it's a different story.
Yeah,
But I had the seat in my hands and I was like, no, I will go and pursue psychology. I
yeah.
will travel miles away from my city and go and study that. So that was definitely the biggest part. It took time for people to adjust, and now, trust me, many people are jealous of where I am right now. So
Okay.
that's what I'll say. Yeah.
All right. Wonderful.
Mm.
So you feel you are in the groove now.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. How's the groove doing for you? What's
Mm.
it doing for you?
So, groove in the sense, if you don't mind asking, groove in the sense, like,
I'm saying you feel you are in the groove. You are s-
yeah,
you are on your path.
yeah, of
So
course. So
I'm
I feel
asking,
that,
yeah,
mm,
go ahead.
so as I said, like, I think as of now, there's a primarily, I'm more inclined towards counseling in health psychology. Like, like in hospitals, if you see, most of the doctors and nurses are not trained mental health practitioners. For example, we go to a doctor, they just give us very straight, hardened facts.
Yeah,
Sometimes the patients are not in the mental space to hear them.
yeah,
I'll give a personal incident. Like during COVID lockdown, I had gone to a doctor, and he just made me sit in a room and he was telling me about how the survival rates of my parents would be.
yeah,
I was not in the mental state to understand that. And I
yeah.
don't think many people would be able to understand that either. There's a way for all this has to be conveyed and all this has to be done. And that is where I step in. I help train the doctors, I help train the nurses, and or I become the person who stands between the people and the healthcare, where I come and break the barrier. And this is very much important. Predominantly now, I did an internship in Max hospitals in Delhi, in the oncology ward, and I saw how much psychological help was required there. especially cancer patients, they have like it's a chronic disease, and you do not have a proper cure, a lot of gray area in the entire field itself. And I feel that, of course, the patient is affected, but there's also the family who's affected. There's a lot of caretakers, and they all require a certain amount of understanding, and they require counseling as well. So I think there's a very high demand nowadays, I feel, in the field of psycho-oncology. So that's what I want to pursue. And I think I'm moving slowly towards that goal as well. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. It's it's too early for you to know whether there's actually jobs, whether there is
Yeah.
a need. Yes, perhaps you're right, but will
Mhm.
there be jobs? How do you fit into
Of
the
course.
hospital structure?
Mm.
These are all things to be sorted out. But in the
Definitely.
meantime, what kind of courses are you taking?
So as of now, as part of my curriculum, we have different kinds of courses. So our core courses is predominantly basic subjects such as educational psychology, cognitive psychology, and then you probably have social psychology, clinical counseling, like that. But I
Hmm.
think what interests me and what puts me apart from the crowd is how the electives have been promoted in my university. For
Yeah.
example, I remember in my first year, I had taken an elective which was from called Scenes to Screen, Crimes in the Media. And we had understood how various media crimes took over and their psychological basis behind that. And we
Hmm.
understood so many things. Like, for example, do you remember the BBC documentary given by Modi and how that got banned for a while and all that? So we
Yes.
understood what are the various factors were behind that, what are the psychological domains in that. And all these things are quite intriguing and it gives you a new perspective into many things. And then moving on to the next elective, I did on online brain, internet, and cognition. And this is one subject which really interests me as well because it is something which is very much relatable to everyone. Especially, I learned about something called the Google effect. As like if you know some information is available on Google, you wouldn't remember it, would you? So
Yeah.
you can easily scroll through, Google it. But do you know that as a matter of time over, we grow, and once we know about it, our neurons have been rewiring itself such that we do not remember all this information.
Yes.
For example, uh, I had spoken to my grandmother, and she remembers the phone numbers of almost 20 to 30 people. And I cannot remember so many phone numbers myself. She's around 83 years old and she's able to remember this. And me being just 19, I'm not able to. Why is this? This is all because of the Google effect. It's not that I don't have the memory to do this, but our memory is wired in such a way, it's very selective right now.
Yeah.
Our entire neural processes is very fluid. It keeps
Hmm.
changing. For
Hmm.
example, let us say you learn a skill. Anyone can learn anything at any time. That's what I strongly believe. And I'm not saying this based on what I believe. This is all research proven and a lot of facts which say this. And at the same time, if you do not do something, if you lose touch of something over time, you also lose that skill eventually. Because the neurons which are being fired and which are being assigned to that is now assigned to something else. For example, let us say one very common example among students today. How many people write anymore? Very less
Yeah.
people write.
Yeah.
Very less people. I
Yeah.
myself have reduced how much I write every day.
Yeah.
Like now everything has become typing. Do you know that one of the most cognitively required skill in the world right now is writing?
Hmm.
It takes every single part of a brain, every single lobe is activated for writing. But that one skill, since we're not using, those are being used for something else right now. And very soon, if this prolongs, we all will be losing the writing skills.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why students in exams struggle to write,
Yeah.
especially given the new ideas of having MCQs or writing short answers. The old way of having the long answers, the essays, and all have been gone. So
Hmm.
yeah. So these are things I learned in my electives, and now my electives is now more towards my subject. Like I'm learning about the psychology of illness. I learn various models, which helps me understand various how to approach different illnesses, like probably we keep hearing these things in the world, but learning the theory and the idea behind them, it's amazing, I would say. Very
Okay.
interesting, it's very intriguing. Like
Mm-hmm.
even if I give you my course right now, uh, even if I give you a small brief about it right now, you'll be like, wow, I want to learn about this. And that is
Okay.
the most important thing I like about my course, let's say. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, economics has started borrowing from psychology in a
Yeah,
field called behavioral economics. Have you heard of it?
definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel about it as a psychology?
To be frank, as I said, like I'm a very science bio background person. I do not much know about the economics, but I would definitely say that psychology has a massive role in behavioral economics, as well as now the upcoming field is neuromarketing. Like
Mm-hmm.
neuroscience, neuromarketing. It
Mm-hmm.
has been affecting marketing. Like that's what I have learned. But when it comes to economics as well, a lot of trends are being predicted. A lot of predictive analysis is being done psychologically nowadays. And
Mm-hmm.
I think this is actually one thing I wanted to add on. Many people who want to pursue something, a course in economics, or want to go in that field, I think they also require a certain psychological learning as well. I think
Okay.
psychology should be one of their subjects because that is something I feel should be inculcated in every field to a certain extent.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, can we shift to what else you do besides psychology? Any hobbies, any interests, anything else?
So apart from psychology, one thing I really love doing is like I love to help people. So I work with this NGO called Ekya Foundation. I work with the PR and marketing team. I also help in conducting drives. I also have gone on many drives where we provide food for a lot of people. And I think this has helped me, like I remember this last time when I went to a drive, I had handed over a food package to someone, and the smile I just saw in their face is enough. I think that was probably like the, like you need to know that why you're doing all this for, and that happiness that they give, the smile on their faces, and it was just amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, apart from the foundation, a recent hobby of mine, academically oriented, I'll admit, is research. I just love doing research. I have been working on two research projects right now, and my faculty here in my university, my faculty are amazing. Like it's a very research-oriented campus, and this has given me a lot of opportunity to do a lot of research. So that is there as well. And I have a craze towards swimming.
Mm-hmm.
I have learned professional deep water swimming also. You take me to a swimming pool, I'll forget who you are. I'll just going to be in the water. Water is my zone. I have
Okay.
always
All right.
lived next to the water in Chennai. For me, living away from water is something very difficult for me, I'll admit. And apart from that, I'm also a tennis player. I play tennis and I play chess from time to time. Anytime I find even in the middle of the night, I just open online and play with a random person. I've been
Ah.
playing chess ever since I was 7, so that has been a long time interest of mine. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
that is pretty much it. And to add on all this, a personal endeavor of mine is since the COVID lockdown had started around 2020, I have been writing a novel. And this novel is something which revolves around my own life as to how I faced certain hurdles in my life and I was not able to overcome it. But in the novel, I overcome it. So that is how the novel works through. And I have written the novel in very simple English in such a way that people in the age group of 12 to 16 can understand it.
Okay.
If you can see, most of the books right now are YA novels, young adult fiction,
Yeah.
or something for more the late teens.
Yeah.
So I felt that when I was 11 or 12, I could not have any much books for me to read. There are
Yeah.
not much books I could relate with. It is
Yeah.
either children books or late teen books. But in
Yeah.
the pre-teen ages, I could not find any book for myself. So
Yeah.
I thought, why not write one myself?
Wonderful.
So
Is it complete?
that is one.
Is it
Huh?
complete?
No, it is a work in progress. I think
Okay.
Now that I've been learning psychology as well. A lot of new inputs are there, a lot of editing, a lot of changes I
Mm-hmm.
want to put.
Mm-hmm.
In a way I can reach the younger population much better. So yeah,
Okay.
definitely one day it will be out there and you will be one of the people who will get to know it, of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yes,
All right. This is
definitely.
wonderful. Wonderful to hear you. You are in swimming. You are in writing novels. You play
Yeah.
chess. Wow. I must say it's a
Mm.
pleasure to hear, listen to you. Do you have any tips for young people younger than you?
So I'll say it's in two ways. So let us say I feel younger people are in two age groups. I can't just give generally. So one for people who are in their pre-teens, who are going to enter teenage. For
Yeah.
them, I
They
will
are
say
not my
that
audience. So why don't we
they're
stick
not your audience.
to, yeah,
Let's stick to the
I
later
can't
teens.
reach them. Let's listen. Let's
Absolutely.
go to
The
students in
later teens.
11th and 12th.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
would definitely like to
Yeah.
help them. I would
Yeah.
say that I remember I'll also borrow a thing which Sarva had said yesterday as to how to hear both to your mind and heart. I think that is one thing which really moved me. But I would also say that adding on to that, being a little more practical because uh, let us say we in 11th grade, if you go to 11th grade student, he'll be like, bro, like all my life my parents have been controlling so much and I have been now being given the freedom to do what I want and I want to explore it. But I would go to him or her and say that now also you are under the control of something else, and that is social media,
Mm-hmm.
and that needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
Who you are, what you want to do should be based on your own decision.
Mm-hmm.
They complain about the parents being controlling, society being controlling them. But in the end, they are being highly influenced by influencers online, social media, what peers think, even what clothes they want to wear, what brands they want to use. All that is being influenced by social media. And that is
Mm-hmm.
one form of control itself.
Mm-hmm.
And now let us say they see a reel or a video about becoming let us say, probably let us say a scientist, let us
Mm-hmm.
say a researcher in a certain field. Now they'll be like, oh, this is interesting, let's pursue it. But they do not understand the subject, the field, the data behind it. I think the new generation needs to disconnect a bit from social media and see things from their own perspective. So I would say that is my big tip for 11th and 12th. And one more thing is, see, as I say that, take my own example. I had taken biology and math in my 11th and 12th. It is not written anywhere that I have to go pursue medicine, engineering, computer science, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to pursue psychology. Of course, it was due to various factors as well. Not everyone are in a position to go and convince their parents and do that. But I think once you put your interest to something, you show that you're confident about it, definitely your parents will oblige. If I
Mm-hmm.
was not confident about pursuing a field in psychology, my parents wouldn't have taken the leap of faith in me.
Mm-hmm.
Since I knew that I can do it, you
Mm-hmm.
show that you can do it. You
Mm-hmm.
show that you have something tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Then no one can stand apart from you. They will stand by
Okay.
you.
Okay.
So that is what I would say then. Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add here? We seem to be coming to a close. Anything else you want to
Uh,
add here?
One thing I would like to add is I keep hearing my friends and a lot of people that I will study and I will go to abroad and I will settle. I do not want to be in India anymore. But I'll tell you all, guys, that this was the homeland. This was where you were born. This is where you are being given the most respect. Let us say I go sit in the United States right now. I will always be second to their own citizen. I will not be given the first preference any day. And I feel that end of the day, just try to give something back to your own country.
Mm-hmm.
That is something which many people should learn. And that patriotism, if we as Indians do not show it, then who else will? Is what I would try to say for all. You go to
Okay.
anyone, you go to any foreigner, go to any foreign nation, ask them something about their own country. They will show so much patriotism and so much love and affection for their country. Then why can't we? We always put other countries on a pedestal that they are better than us. But our country is in fact way better. We just don't know it yet.
Okay.
And so that is
All
what
right.
I want to tell everyone that
Good.
in end of
Eh,
the day, India is your country and you are what make India what it is. So that is what I'll say.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, is that is all.
Okay, good. Maybe we'll catch up with you in a year to see uh, where you have
Yeah,
reached and what your
definitely.
views
I'm
are.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay, but for the moment, let's say bye to the viewers. I'll be
Bye.
back with an expert or a young person. Bye, everybody.